So we'll go down to Cody here. Cody says, what is the number one way a father can gain full custody? More specifically, what's looked at most in reference to the importance in the court's eyes? So number one is, I think I'll start out with this. Outside of crazy situations, I don't advocate for either parent to have 100% custody. I'm not going to advocate for a mom to have 100% custody and a dad to have nothing, and vice versa. There are situations. I have clients, I have cases, I've seen issues where there's serious child abuse, there's major substance abuse issues, there's major mental health issues, and these are legitimate, not just the kind of standard BS that we see on a day in, day out basis in filings, but when there's legitimate concerns. Mom's been arrested for X crime, which was committed against the kids. Dad got arrested for DUI while the kid was in the back seat. So I'll start out by saying that I typically wouldn't advocate for full custody for either parent. But if you're in those situations where that's necessary and for the safety of the child, for the well-being of the child, I would say that number one is you need to document everything. I have a case right now where the case has been going on forever. I think I'm about the fifth attorney on the case on my client's side, but we got him full custody. And what happened was mom was charged with felony child abuse. So that was a situation where we needed to go in right away and make sure the children were safe. And so that was a pretty clear-cut situation where we went right in and we said, here's the arrest, here's the charge, and the judge granted it. Now, turning it back, how can dads improve their odds in family court? We know the deck's stacked against dads. So I would say number one is either being involved or doing your best to try to be involved in your child's life. The more you know about the day-to-day life, the more doctors, schools, extracurricular activities. It's amazing the number of fathers that come into my office that they aren't on the kids' school records. They have no idea where the kids go to the doctor's office. And so when a judge goes to look what's in the best interest of the child when they're trying to make a custody determination, if you've never taken them to the doctor, or you don't even know where they go to the doctor, you don't know anything about their medical, you don't know anything about their school, you don't go to parent-teacher conferences, that's going to be used against you, and probably rightfully so. Now, there are some situations where mom's done her best to prevent that, and maybe dad's let it linger around and it just kind of went with the flow for several years. That's going to be a hole that you're going to have to dig out of. So being involved. And then number two is documenting everything. I think that if you're going through a custody proceeding or you're thinking about it, you need to just go print out a blank calendar, go into Google, print out a blank calendar for each month and document exactly when you have the kids. I have clients that go to the next step and they document what they did, what they do, when they went to doctor's appointments, when they went to games. And let's just say that it takes a year for things to get settled in the court, and I know many of you probably have gone more than a year, then we can attach those calendars to a declaration or use them in trial and say, here's dad's involvement with the kids. Because one of the big arguments, and I think one of the arguments that goes the furthest with judges in terms of limiting father's time, is when dad's not involved or dad has no proof of involvement. If mom says, hey, he really hasn't been involved, and we don't have anything to disprove it other than your words, it can be challenging. Where if she says he's not been involved and all of a sudden we have a color-coded calendar that when you're on the stand, you can be questioned about and asked about, that can be very powerful. So first part is I don't advocate for anybody outside of unfortunate circumstances to have full legal and physical custody, but be involved and then document. Those are the two things that's going to help your lawyer. That's going to help yourself the most to show you're a fit, willing, and able parent, and that you've actually been exercising that. Now, a whole nother path of the situations that are far too common where mom withholds the kids, and it's maybe been a year, 18 months, 2 years, whatever it may be, since you've had real active involvement, or maybe you never have. And that's one of those things, the unfortunate things, where probably going to have to it's going to be a process to work your way to where you want to be.